Okay, so in the last class we were discussing about the side lobe scattering and effect of that. So how this viewing angle with respect to edge of the plate, how it will give side lobes. Okay, so today we will discuss the another the effect which is called as edge diffraction. So what is meant by means difference between scattering and diffraction? Because these two phenomenon exist in every whenever it is happens, reflections happens. Even reflection is also a different phenomena compared to this diffraction and scattering. Okay, so what is the difference? So difference, can you tell what is the difference of scattering and diffraction? Reflection, it will give the brighter this one intensity, whatever the wave which is coming back. So with respect to the receiver, if you take, so the receiver direction, it will give maximum intensity of the wave. But scattering, what will happen, scattering and diffraction, so the scattering, the wave which is coming back in all the directions, that wave propagation will be in the all direction. And diffraction is, so if you take average propagation, so there is no change in the direction of wave, so only it will travel in the average propagation direction. So but scattering, it will go in all the directions. Okay, so that is a difference. So if you take now edge diffraction with respect to this, so whenever we have the backscatter coming from the whatever the threat sector or something like that, so this with respect to which electric field which is a diffraction which is happening, we need to consider, or we need to take into uh, care what is the electric field with respect to the edge of the uh, whatever the backscatter happening from the threat sector or even the target. Okay, so now this edge returns are diffraction scattering mechanisms that principally scatter in a specular direction. So with respect to this electric whatever field, or what we call it as the polarization. So whether it is vertically polarized wave or whether it is horizontally polarized wave. Okay, so that with respect to that we need to see, so what is the edge diffraction or edge returns which is coming. So now we can see here it is vertically polarized, so whenever the wave which is coming to the edge and it is diffracted, so whenever it is coming back, so what type of return we are receiving with respect to this incident wave. And similarly here, and this is with respect to the perpendicular edge, whatever the field which is receiving perpendicular to the edge, and whatever we have here, it is parallel to the edge. Okay, so for backscatter, edges are bright specular scattering centers, because these edges will be sharp edges, it will give very bright specular scattering. So that will happen due to because of this the edges which are very bright scattering centers. So these scattering centers at any time they are viewed perpendicular to the edge. So this is the one which is showing here what is perpendicular to edge, what we are seeing. Okay, so now the normal to an edge is not a single direction, because this complete field, it will be parallel to this edge completely. So unlike your perpendicular direction, only one direction it will be there, but in the parallel it will be, so it is completely parallel to the complete edge. So the plane which is perpendicular to the edge and edge returns depends on this polarization. So whatever the returns, whatever edge diffraction returns the wave, that depends on the polarization of the wave, whether it is the return wave which is, again it is with respect to this incident wave, whether it is vertically polarized or is it horizontally polarized. So based on that, the wave energy, whatever diffracted wave energy, we can able to get it. So if it is orthogonally polarized, so then it is minimum energy will be received, and if it is same polarization if you receive, then you will get the maximum energy. Okay, so edge returns being bright specular like scattering centers. So as we've seen, so edges with respect to whatever the incident and the returns which is coming back, so that will be always these edges are bright scattering centers and treated for the radar cross section readers just like a specular surface returns. So as like in the complex targets, so these edges are also treated for so the specular surfaces, okay, and they are to be avoided entirely in the threat sector. So whichever we identified the threat sectors in the complex targets, so these edges also treated as the threat sectors and it should be avoided. Okay, so now the surface traveling edge and creeping waves, these are also some of the um, whatever the bright reflections which will come from the target, so that we also need to take care. So surface wave scattering mechanisms are non-specular mechanisms that may dominate the RCS in resonant region. So because the surface waves whatever we put the scattering centers we identified, so that scattering centers, so definitely the surface wave will be there on the particular scattering centers or particular threat sectors. So these surface wave are considered as a non-specular mechanisms because the waves which is not perpendicular to the whatever in the direction of receiver, the waves which is spreaded over on the surface of the specular regions, so that's why are threat sectors. So that's why it is a non-specular and it is not giving the maximum energy, but it will dominate the RCS in the resonant region. So wherever we have resonant frequency, so there this surface wave will be dominant and corresponding impedance very much variations will be there, so that you need to take care with respect to the surface wave, the impedance, surface impedance and all. And the surface wave scattering is generally not of concern in the optic region because this surface wave scattering with respect to lambda in the optical region, it is not considered. So because why it is not of concern means this surface wave at the optical region, so it is it will be like harmonic waves, so we are not considering that harmonic waves in the higher frequency region. So because of that, so we are not considering this surface wave in the optics region because it will vary as lambda square. So even this is also one of the reason, because it will the surface wave which has the magnitudes which are varying with respect to the lambda square. So whenever it varies with respect to lambda square, since the frequency region is very high, so then the lambda will be very low. So then with respect to lambda square, so this surface wave scattering so generally are of not concern. So now shaping is not generally used to control these scattering mechanisms. So this whatever we surface waves we are telling, shaping is not generally used so to control these surface waves scattering. So rather we will use the radar absorbing material, because so this as I said, this surface waves is at the higher frequency region. So the target itself, it will be acts like even simple target itself, it will act as a different scattering centers. So that's why what will happen, so we cannot put all the scattering centers the shaping materials. So instead we can use the radar absorbing materials, or we can use some type of absorbing paints and we can coat the paints in particular scattering centers where it is required. Okay, so and also creeping waves, so these are also of concern in the threat sector, so that also you need to take care, but these are also not of concern at the higher frequencies. And tip diffraction is very small magnitude, because as I said, the included angle whatever you take any target center or scattering center, so that tip diffraction is very small magnitude scattering center, so it will return the reflection very low energy. So even in the optical region, because of the high frequency, the lambda is very low, and since this magnitude is proportional to lambda square, so and the included angle of the tip, so as we discussed in the last class also, as this included angle which is gone becoming very small, Okay, so then this tip will become very narrow. So this very narrow tip, it will not give the brighter energy or brighter scattering. So because of that, the RCS will be very less compared to other higher included angle. Okay, so that's why this type of OG, we'll call it as this OG. So that means the included angle, minimum included angle will be there, and this, wherever the included angle is very much small, so then we'll call it as S curve. Okay, so these are the tip scattering, the proportional to included angle. So whenever the included angle is very less, so then you will get the very less diffraction, or very less the reflection in the receiving direction. So when the included angle is more, then the portion of this, so it will going to reflect the energy. Okay, so this is what the tip diffraction. So now another form of shaping is planform shaping. Okay, so this is also one of the shaping technique. So the planform shaping is the most fundamental choice. So in the clean sheet of paper, because whatever the shaping materials you use, so if you use the clean sheet of paper to design as a shaping material, so then it will reduce the RCS in an effective way. Because this clean sheet of paper which we use, it will not be having any other the losses which is there in this sheet of paper. So this whatever design which we do, so it will reduce the RCS in the effective way. So the planform shape is driven entirely by the nature of thread sector. So this whatever shape we will form, so that depends on the which is the brighter thread sector or brighter scattering centers. Based on that, we will plan the shape. And the design rule is so very simple. A clean sheet of paper configuration must have surface or edge specular returns with the primary thread sector. So it should not have any this surface kind of thing or edge specular returns. So whatever the thread sector we identified as a primary thread sector, so whenever we have use this clean sheet of paper configuration, it should not have any edge or surface diffraction. So this is one of the flying saucer, so which you can see here how the shaping is happening. Okay, so the shaping in bottom as well as top, it is almost, it is similar like in top and bottom. Okay, so when we shape like this, so with a clean sheet of paper, so then it will not be having much specular returns. Okay, so if you first trial plan which is considered as this flying saucer, this configuration. So in this case, in this whatever flying saucer case, we have curved edge specular flash from every direction. But this whatever the curved edge, so this will not be having very much tip like a diffraction. So it will be scattering in all the direction. So by using the shaping material on this or clean sheet of paper, or you can use the radar absorbing material also to uh, absorb the energy in the azimuthal direction. So even you can coat the paint or paint kind of thing in this complete azimuthal direction, and you can able to reduce the RCS. So now the end region side lobes would be minimal because the upper and lower surfaces are blended curves. So because of the near grazing, so whatever the incidence, so because of the near grazing, so upper and lower regions both, you can see here it is uh, the side lobes will be very much smaller because of this the bending of this shape. That means the conformal shapes whatever we see here, so because of that conformal shape and the grazing viewing, so with respect to angle of viewing which is grazing angle, so the side lobes will be minimum. So this is very simple clean body with minimum discontinuities. So if you consider other discontinuities like this, the edge discontinuities and tip discontinuities and all, so compared to that, it is very much uh, blended surface, and it will not give brighter reflections. Okay, so now this is the how it will be RCS. It is the backscatter RCS looks for plan form. So like for equilateral triangle. So if you see, this is the specular region or a threat sector, how we can able to view this. So the first one, which will be the incident direction, will be in the parallel polarization. Okay, so if you incident the wave in the parallel polarization, how the specular returns or RCS will be look like. So we can see here, if you have the reduction of RCS in the 0 degree angle, so you'll be reducing very much less, or you are getting very much less RCS. So now if the same triangle, if you put it in perpendicular direction, see the RCS, it is high compared to this parallel direction. So now at 0 degree, if you compare both, so then the incident polarization is very important. Okay, so that's why whenever we want a particular direction, the RCS reduction, so then you have to uh, perfectly incident the wave with respect to the polarization. So now we can see here, this is both. If you combine both horizontal and vertical polarization, that will be giving circular polarization. Okay, so that circular polarization returns so this much of backscatter RCS. Okay, so now if you want to reduce, then you have to rearrange this the shape of this target in such a way that it should return very less RCS, or it should give very less RCS. So now if you take, this is the comparison of triangular shape of the uh, that spikes, so with respect to different polarization techniques. So now you can see here, so the diamond shaped the plate, whatever you take the target, so if it is incident with the parallel polarization, okay, so then this is the specular returns. You can see at 0 degree we can have minimum RCS. Okay, so these are the different even you can measure different kind of the targets, are different kind of the shapes you can use, and you can estimate the RCS. So this is one of the problems nowadays they are trying to analyze, so different shaping techniques also, but they are doing with respect to energy cancellation. Say for example, I don't want the energy in 0 direction, they will scatter the energy like this, so in other directions. So that uh, one of the method that nowadays they are using is structuring the material in chessboard kind of thing. Okay, so what is meant by that, just I will tell. Okay, so if you want if you don't want the energy reflection in this 0 direction, okay, so I want to reflect the, or I want to scatter the energy in other direction. Okay, so then I can use some rectangular kind of the small unit cells. Okay, and so this whatever small rectangular kind of thing, so I will something like I will arrange like this. Okay, so if I arrange in a diamond shape, okay, so if I arrange in a diamond shape, so or you can have like this. So this is again it will give the same thing. So if you have, say for example, if I have the rectangular kind of thing like this arranged like this, and after one some 2 to 4 unit cell I'll arrange like this. Okay, so this is what we call chessboard kind of thing. So one it is in one direction, in another it is in another direction. Again I will put here in this direction, and I will put here in this direction. So what will happen, so because of this arrangement, so this will give, so if it is having 0 degree phase, and if it is giving 180 degree phase, so this phase will be maintained in order to cancel the energy in a particular direction. So now I want to cancel the energy in a 0 degree broadside direction, that is perpendicular to this surface. So what will happen, the RCS will be reduced, so in this 0 degree direction. So this will scatter the energy in other directions, as like we have shown here. Similar kind of this it will happen. So that's why we can arrange the the design or the shaping materials or structure, so that we can able to reduce the RCS. So this is one of the energy cancellation techniques nowadays they are using. So now what are the shaping rules? Summary you can take it. So what are the shaping rules we have to follow, and what are the things we need to take into care while shaping? So first we need to define mission and threat sectors. So for what kind of application or what kind of mission we want to do shaping of a radar target, okay, or shaping of our system, receiving system. So and we have to identify the threat sectors, which are the very bright scattering centers we need to identify. So based on that we have to design the shaping mechanism and choose a plane form shape with minimum of specular spikes. Place specular surface and edge returns well away from the threat sectors. Okay, so whatever threat sector, exactly this threat sector will be identify the opposite people, and they will completely send the signal to the threat sectors, so that it will return the bright scattering. So if they return the bright scattering, then definitely they can able to suspect the device. So that's why wherever the threat sector is there, so whichever you identified edge and spikes, those will give the bright scattering reflections or bright scattering. So that you need to put away from these threat sectors, so that you will have very good RCS reduction for your device. And use long swept lines for narrow beam width spikes. For narrow beam width spikes, use the long swept lines. So these swept lines, so you need to, because this narrow beam width, what will happen, so within that beam width it will return very bright scattering it will return. So that's why you need to use these sweeping lines, so in order to reduce that the brighter scattering. So use sloped shallow surfaces viewing towards the grazing. So as we discussed here in the flying saucer, you have to use the grazing viewing surfaces, or you can use the conformal surfaces to avoid that reflection. Never use platform body lines perpendicularly in the threat sector, because what happens, this platform body, if it is perpendicular to the threat sector, so exactly, so this will happen. So if the perpend say for example this is a threat sector, okay, and if it is perpendicularly this threat sector, so then it will return maximum uh, reflection. That's why you have to never always view the body lines which is perpendicular to this threat sector. And stack all unavoidable body lines to place their specular spikes into a common direction. So you can place these specular spikes so that it can be avoided in a common direction. And use smooth surfaces and not necessarily flat ones. So you can if you have a flat plate, again as I said, compared to sphere and cylinder, the flat plate, it will completely exactly it will return backscatter in the same direction. So that's why don't use necessarily flat ones, but use something like conformal surfaces or blended surfaces. So that is a better one. And minimize or eliminate surface discontinuities. So for example, blended surfaces, so minimize the discontinuities in the blended surfaces. Again, even though if you use the smooth surface or blended surface, if the discontinuities are there, then that will also have the reflection, bright reflection or bright scattering, it will happen. So use the internal storage, so in order to properly collect the data. So blend crew station, air inlets and exhaust, antennas and sensors. So this you have to place properly, or you have to cover these exhaust and inlets, whatever they are rotating always. So you have to cover properly. So because these are all the very good scattering centers, even because we use many antennas for radar systems. So this will be very bright scattering centers or threat sectors, we can call it as. So those we have to hide in our system. or you can reduce for all these things. You can use one or the other method and you can reduce the RCS, that is also possible. And minimize the surface roughness. So this is also, because roughness also in terms of scattering reflection, it will be give very good back scattering. So that's why minimize the surface roughness. So integrate your knowledge with that of other disciplines. So this is very important, because we don't know the what are the materials we can use for smooth surface, or in order to get the conformal surface, or even uh, other materials which are very good absorbing capacity and all. So that's why we can have to discuss with other material, those who are working on materials, and we can integrate that knowledge, and we can able to reduce the RCS, so in a better way. So in order to properly do the application oriented RCS reduction materials, so these are all the things we need to follow, and so we will get the better RCS reduction. So now coming to the uh, other type of the radar cross section materials. So you have dielectric multilayer absorber design and performance. So what are these dielectric multilayers absorbers? So what happens when we use these dielectric multilayer absorbers? So then, even this multilayer or single layer dielectric absorber if you use, so then we can able to reduce the RCS. So now what are the things we need to consider our design using this dielectric multilayer absorber? So generally this ideal radar absorber will be thin, light, durable, and easily applied. So inexpensive and have broadband frequency range. But in practical, we don't have any ideal absorber. Okay, so one or the other parameter we have to compromise, and we don't get ideal absorber which is having these type of characteristics. Okay, so even if you have a lightweight, you may not achieve the broadband frequency, or if you are achieving broadband frequency range, it may be expensive, so like that. So all the characteristics we cannot achieve by practically available radar absorbers. So as an alternative, what we have to do, we have to modify the material, or we have to modify the structural absorbing materials, so mechanically. So or as I said, we have to design in a structural way. So if you can modify the surface waves, or we can modify the surface impedance, or you can modify the structural design or current variation. So by fundamental methods whatever we study, by modifying those, we can able to achieve the absorbing capacity. Okay, so a structural RAM that is mechanically sound and has no size, weight, or costly cost penalty over standard structural materials. So if you compare this one structural RAM other over other standard structural materials, so it has no size, weight, and cost penalty. So we can use this structural radar absorbing materials. So this is, you can see here, so at the time of World War, so Germans developed this magnetic radar absorbing material. So based on this, even both are there, electric radar absorbing material, magnetic radar absorbing material. So at the time of World War, they have designed magnetic ram paint. Okay, so this is one of the radar absorbing material. So they have used for submarine, so coning towers, to reduce the RCS. So they have used for this paint to this one, and they are reducing the RCS at that time. So a significant of effort has been investigated in the development of absorbers, so that are practical for military applications. Because from the World War itself, Second World War itself, this radar technology is very much developing. So because of that, these radar reduction, RCS reduction techniques also becoming more significant. And also nowadays many methods, as I said, so absorbing technique and energy cancellation technique. But the RCS reduction, it is difficult to achieve over the broadband frequency. So that also the people are trying to develop different techniques to achieve in a broadband frequency. So although the emphasis is on broadband absorbers, because narrowband usually radar systems will operate in broadband frequency range like X band radar, L band radar, C band radar. Those are all the bands which are very much wide, like 4 to 8 gigahertz, 8 to 12 gigahertz, 12 to 18 gigahertz, like that. So because the emphasis should be on the broadband absorbers, so whatever the descriptions, see, the start with simple narrow band, so single layer absorber or single narrow band absorber, but the emphasis is given on broadband absorbers. Even they will use multi layers, and they will try to get the broadband absorption by putting the frequency beside, side by side. So whatever we use one layer, if you use like a single layer, okay, on top of it again they will use another single layer. So this may resonate on one frequency and this may resonate on other frequency, and they will put side by side, and they will try to achieve wideband performance over the frequency. So like that they are achieving the broadband absorbing techniques. So now one of some example for this absorbing materials. So these are all Salisbury screens and Dell bench layers. So these are the two types of the absorbing materials, oldest and simplest types they are using. So these screens are whatever layers, so it will acts as a resonant absorber, so where at particular frequency only we need to design. So with respect to that frequency, this absorbing capacity will be increased with respect to whatever the measurement reflection we will do. Okay, so the Salisbury screen is a resonant absorber created by placing a resistive sheet. So you can see here, so there is a resistive sheet used. In between the metal and resistive sheet there is a plastic foam or honeycomb spacer. So this spacer, again, if you go on increasing or decreasing the space, the absorptivity will vary. Okay, so this is the Salisbury screen what we are seeing here. So we can incident the plane wave on this material. So since because of this resistive sheet and the metal backing, so the wave which is not reflecting, and it will completely absorbed in the material itself. Okay, so this Dell bash layer consists of homogeneous lossy layer backed by a metal plate. So here it is a resistive layer in Salisbury screen, but in Dell bench layer, so it is homogeneous lossy layer. So now in the analysis of Salisbury screen performance, so we assume that an infinitesimally thin resistive sheet of conductance G, so normalized to free space, is placed at a distance d from the metal plate. So that's what we have seen. So this resistive sheet is separated by a distance d from the metal backing in order to match this the impedance of this one to a free space. Okay, so typically a foam or honeycomb spacer might be used. So spacer dielectric contains in the 1.03 to 1.1 range are normal. So these dielectric constants, so even you can not only honeycomb, so whichever is their foam it is having 1.03, and you can use other materials, those are having dielectric constants near to the value of free space. So now to simplify the analysis, the normalized permittivity of spacer is assumed to be a free space. Okay. So now we can see the reflection how it will happen. So because of this conductance G, so the resistive sheet is sandwiched between two layers. So that means it is treated as the air and as well as the foam which is here, which is there here. Okay, so then this resistive sheet which exhibit the conductance G, and whatever the reflections which is coming, so we can define the forward wave and backward wave, and we can find out by using the epsilon and mu what is the admittance. So we can even with respect to this sheet whatever we use, so both sides we can try to get this, so the admittance. So now we can use multi-layer also. So we can use n number of layers and we can arrange like this. and we can get the absorptivity more. So now this reflectivity we can define it as in terms of B and A. So that will be given by Bn plus by An plus, because for one single sheet of layer we can take it as B by A. For n layers we are uh, taking the reflectivity as Bn plus 1 by An plus 1. So now the reflection coefficient for dielectric multi-layer will be 0. So then if you the reflectivity, if you want to take 0, or if you want to get a 0, so then this Bn plus 1 should be 0. So how we can get that Bn plus 1 0? So even if we make the conductance as uh, in the form of this one, or if you make the conductance as 1, so then it will become this form. So this B2 will become equal to 0, because this in terms, this turns out in terms of cost term, and this will become 0 only this cost term will be go to 0. Okay, so when this will be goes to 0, it will be the D, the spacing in terms of pi by 2, it is the multiples of pi by 2. So then it will go to 0. So once it will go to 0, then reflectivity will be 0. So that's how we have to uh, take the sheet in terms of the conductivity. So just a minute, I'll come back. Hello sir. Hello sir. ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಸರ್? ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಸರ್? ಅದೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಸರ್? ಓಕೆ. ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಬಲಾ ಸರ್? ಸರಿ ಸರ್, ನಾನು ಮೇಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಹಾಂ, ಓಕೆ ಸರ್. ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay, so whenever we have this Salisbury screen, so as if you want to get the reflectivity 0, so as I said, so this whatever the reflection should be getting 0 for n layers. So how to get this one? So now by using this equation, so we have the conductance. If you make this conductance as 0, so this will come in terms of the cost form, so with respect to the distance D. So now if you make this cost term 0, so then you will get the value B to 0. So that how we will get? So we will get the D spacing in terms of the multiples of pi by 2. So then you will get, so then we can find out what is the value of D. So it will comes out to be lambda by 4 plus n lambda by 2. So where n equal to varies from 0 to 1, 0 1 2 up to so large value. So thus for zero reflectivity, a Salisbury screen requires the important one. This is 377 ohm per square resistance, because if it matches here, because of the free space impedance will be 377 ohm. So if it matches exactly this sheet, whatever square sheet, 1 meter square or 2 meter square, whatever you take the resistive sheet, okay, if it is matches that resistive value with the free space impedance, then you will get the minimum reflection. There is no reflection at all, it will become 0. So you might have just know the equation. So if you have the reflection coefficient equation, so in transmission line you have as observed ZL by ZL minus Z0 by ZL plus Z0. If this is a characteristic impedance of the transmission line, okay, and you have connected a load here at the receiving end, this is load, and this is a characteristic impedance of your transmission line. So now if this ZL, if it is matches with the Z0, if ZL is equal to Z0, then your reflection will be 0. So these impedances should match. In the similar way here, assume this free space will be having 377 ohm. So if it is matches with this resistive sheet, so then the reflection will become 0. So in the similar fashion here, it is modified this screen in order to get the free space impedance as 377 ohm. So now this sheet resistance, if we set as an odd multiple of this electrical quarter wavelength in front of perfectly reflective backing. So we have done this perfectly reflective backing, that metal whatever we here we have put, this will be perfectly reflection, it will happen. So if you put in terms of the multiple electrical water wavelength, so then that d whatever spacing d whatever we define, so this in terms of multiple electrical quarter wavelengths, then we can able to get the zero reflectivity. So now another way of think, the Salisbury screen is in transmission line terms. A quarter wavelength transmission line can be used, and it will forms the short circuit at the metal plate into open circuit. So then at the resistivity sheet, it will the conductance will become zero. Okay. So this is what another type you can think. So we can use this Salisbury screen in terms of quarter wavelength transmission line, and we can get the proper zero reflectivity. So the sum of sheet and open circuit admittances, so whatever we have here admittances we have calculated. Okay, so those admittances, which is the value seen by impinging wave, is just that of the sheet 1 over 377 mho. So provided, so if you provide that one, there is no reflection occurs. Okay, so this is what the Salisbury screen, how we can able to achieve zero reflectivity, and it will absorb the energy so completely. And you can even you can see the performance of Salisbury screen with respect to different impedances. So if you have 377 impedance perfect match, then it will go to almost infinite. So reflection is zero means, so this is S11 will be, so it will go to infinite value. And slightly if you have the reduction, so that is 300 ohm, 200 ohm, like that. Say for example 300 ohm, so it will give around minus 18 17 dB. So that is comparatively it is better, but if you go for 200 dB, it is below 10 dB, so then high reflection will happen. So then there will be a probability of detection will be more. Okay, so this is the how we can have the Salisbury screen we can use for reducing the radar cross section, and we can use this as a absorbing material. Even you can use here if you take 20 dB level of reflection, so the 370 some ohm resistive sheet, it will give around 25% bandwidth at resonance frequency of 5.9 gigahertz. So this you have to this curves which is plotted for 1.27 centimeter spacing. Okay, the distance between that whatever the resistive sheet and the metal backing, so that will be distance 1.27 centimeter. So for increased mechanical rigidity and plastics honeycombs or higher density foams may be used as a spacer. So in order to avoid the flexibility, so this it make it rigid, so then you can use these plastics or honeycomb with high density we can use. So now this whatever the preceding analysis assume the normal incidence plane wave on the absorber. So if it is interesting to explore specular performance of this Salisbury screen at normal angles and off the normal angles, you can, that also you can do. This is perfectly the incident wave which is perpendicular to this one, exactly it is perpendicular to the incident. Now we can use another angles like this. Okay, so you can use some other incident angles, and you can estimate the performance, how much absorptivity it will happen. So that is also very much important, that we'll call it as angular stability of the whatever screen. Okay, so any structure you can take, so that we'll call it as angular stability. So, and the magnitude of reflection coefficient for both parallel and perpendicular polarization are given by approximately. So this you can reflection with perpendicular and parallel, so approximately we can given by this formula. Okay, so this is about the Salisbury screen. So and other things we'll discuss in the next class. And you can see here, so this is another mm, reflection curves where the resonance will be having two different frequencies. and with respect to different impedances. So this is the distance at 2.54 centimeter. This is the performance of Salisbury screen at 2.54 centimeter standoff distance. So you can see with variation of impedances, definitely the bandwidth will vary and absorptivity will be vary. So based on the reflection, the absorptivity will be vary. Okay. Okay. So we'll stop here and we'll continue.